Good morning and happy hump day, folks. So it actually just occurred to me that we're over halfway through April. We're quite literally at the very hump of April of 2025 on literal hump day. That's cool. Technically, we reached the halfway mark after midnight, but yeah. We made it, man. We're halfway through April. And Easter is in a couple of days. Actually, I need to get my shoes on because I'm actually in a bit of a hurry, so I'm gonna where are you going? So as long as I'm here, I might as well talk about my low behind the act of kindness. Let's see, what was my low? Well, I was a little bit busy yesterday, and thankfully, here's the thing. I said yesterday that I'd be busy for the next 34 hours, and it's been 24. Well, actually, I might have done my math wrong a little bit. Actually, it's been more than 24. I know that. So I got 10 hours to go. So that's good. The problem is, though, the vast majority of the reasons why I was busy are going to be happening within the next 3 or so hours. So it's really just getting past the next 3 hours, and then I'm good. And that's a good thing, because there's so much I need to prepare for this weekend. Speaking of things preparing for, my high is I got to see my family yesterday, my mom and dad. It was great to see them. And my act of kindness was actually a whole bunch of acts of kindness. I took out the garbage for my folks. I emptied the dishwasher, then refilled it with dirty dishes. So yeah. And I guess to add on to my high, okay, so if you've ever seen like the show Friends, then you know about the legendary Moistmaker episode, which is Ross's Thanksgiving or turkey dinner leftover sandwich. Seriously, like in my entire life, I've heard about it so much. And here's the thing, like I would actively like either not watch Friends or I would secretly make fun of people who do. Honestly, the one time I gave it a chance, it was Chandler Bing that got me into liking the show. Rest in peace, Matthew Perry. And I am totally a Chandler guy. Like, that is me. I am Chandler Bing. Right down to the point where I make jokes I feel uncomfortable and I'm nervous around girls. That's actually a real thing, by the way. Matthew Perry said during his audition that he's nervous around girls. That's how he got the role of Chandler. So, yeah. I mean, I say nervous. I wouldn't quite say I can have a conversation with a girl just fine. It's just, it's the part of like, I don't take rejection well. I'll say that. I don't know. And I literally have an item on my 2025 bucket list that just says shoot my shot. Well, technically, I'm referring to a few people, but that's my personal business. Thank you. Okay, so needless to say, last night I made myself a Moistmaker. Well, sort of. I mean, a true Moistmaker proper will have like every single Thanksgiving leftover underneath the sun. Like cranberry sauce, green bean casserole, if you guys are into that. You name it. Mine last night just had turkey, stuffing, and mashed potatoes because it was leftovers from my brother's birthday the other day. However, the one thing you gotta get right, and this is the one thing that actually Babish technically Babish did fine when he made it, but everybody freaked him out because, okay, the reason why it's called the Moistmaker is because it is a club sandwich. If you don't know what club sandwich proper is, it's a sandwich made with 3 pieces of bread. You have the bottom piece of bread, which is the heel. have your first set of fillings, another piece of bread, which is referred to as the club, and that's why it's called the club sandwich, more of your fillings, and then the top, which is the crown. So heel, club, crown. That's a club sandwich. And the club is supposed to be soaked in gravy. Now, what Babish did was perfectly fine. I think people were just giving him grief just for the sake of the internet being haters. But you need to soak the bread for 10 seconds. Okay, speaking from experience, like, if you soak bread even for a quarter of that time, you're fine. Like, any more than 10 seconds and that bread is going to completely fall apart as you're trying to assemble the sandwich. I mean, thankfully, that hasn't happened to me yet. However, and this is like the one thing I need to do a little more research on, but in the show Friends, when what happens is Ross had the sandwich and someone stole it and ate it when he was at work. Even had his name on and everything, which is rude. Now, like, the sandwich is supposed to be eaten like you would actually eat a sandwich. I have no idea what kind of crazy engineering the crew behind Friends does. But anytime I've tried to make a Moistmaker, which albeit I've only made 3 Moistmakers ever, this is not a sandwich you pick up and eat. Like, this is a straight knife and fork job. Which, don't get me wrong, knife and fork jobs are awesome. Like, I'm just curious, how do they do that? I mean, listen, obviously in the show, it was a prop. Everyone knows that. I mean, I'm sure that between the fact that the sandwich is clearly smaller than it ought to look smaller than it ought to be, and you have it wrapped in saran wrap plastic so you can't quite see everything through the plastic very well, like, there's no way that's supposed to be what a Moistmaker is. But from my experience, you know, it's great. It's fun. I think it's one of the best sandwiches ever if you can if you have the means to assemble it. I mean, again, this is really more of like a sandwich I would only have if the opportunity presented itself. Like, me personally, if I really want a sandwich, I mean a really good sandwich, I mean, the club sandwich at Pick's Pub in Elmira Heights, that's easily one of the best sandwiches I've ever had. Actually, Pick's has a few good sandwiches. Their Reuben's pretty good. Philly cheesesteak's pretty good. I just mentioned the club. I mean, listen, the area I live in, I have at least 3 really great places to get a sub. And that's not even including like pizza joints and stuff. You know, you got Meniere's, you've got Honor Roll, and you have the sub shop in Elmira Heights. Actually, there's another sub shop like down the street from So 4 technically. Although I have never been to the one down there. Honestly, it's just a little bit out of my way. Like, I always had, you know, in that direction, but never in this one unless I absolutely need to do something. So, the point is, I'm in a pretty good area where I can get myself a good sandwich or sub at like several different locations. I'm not really worried about that. Although, I mentioned Honor Roll earlier. We got the watermelon Feta salad coming soon. Oh, got the watermelon. If you don't know, the very last Wednesday in May, at least since I've been paying attention to it, Honor Roll brings out their seasonal watermelon Feta salad. Obviously, it's got watermelon and feta cheese in it, but it's also got like red onions, some good lettuce. I think there's some spinach in there. Chicken speedies. which I was not expecting, and a really good dressing, Italian dressing. It's so actually I think there's probably a few other things about that I'm completely missing off the top of my head, but everything I just said, that's definitely in the salad. And I just want to say something. I live in upstate New York. You know, vastly different from what you get in the city. You know, we got our buffalo wings. We got garbage plates, even though I'm not really a fan of the whole mac salad part. We got chicken riggies if you're near the Syracuse area. We got beef on weck if you're near the Buffalo area. But one thing in New York State, or upstate New York, that a lot of people gravitate to is like the number one upstate New York food is something called chicken speedies, which is essentially cut up pieces of chicken in a really good sauce. That's really all it is. Or it's marinated chicken in a really good sauce. Which, here's the thing. Up until I've had the watermelon feta salad from Honor Roll, I only had chicken speedies like a handful of times. Here's the thing. It's not that I'm not a fan. It tasted good, but the chicken was so dry. Oh my God. Like, anytime I took a bite, I'm like, for the love of God, somebody give me something to drink. Because, like, that's how dry it always is. Honor Roll's been the one place to do chicken speedies proper. Where, like, the chicken isn't dry. Not only is it not dry, it's actually, like, I know a lot of people find this as a trigger word, but moist. It is moist chicken. Although, that might have to be due to the fact, like, it's surrounded by good produce. You know, the onion, the lettuce, the spinach, the dressing itself as well. That's obviously, you know, a wet thing. Like, and the watermelon, of course, the watermelon. Like, there's so many, like, things in that salad that are filled with moisture that actually makes up for, that would actually make up for dry chicken. But that's the thing. The chicken isn't dry. Somehow they figured out how to make it work. And what you get is the greatest salad ever. I mean, the watermelon feta salad at Honor Roll is a top 3 salad for me, no question. I mean, years ago when I did my full course menu of life, I had basically a decent salad with Italian dressing, crumbly blue cheese, and I also had the Caesar. I gotta give it up for the watermelon feta salad though. It's great. I hesitate to make it my ultimate salad of choice simply because of how seasonal it is. But if you have an opportunity to go to Honor Roll in Horseheads, New York, and you get a watermelon feta, get the watermelon feta salad. Again, it's a little bit early for it to be here. It's, again, going to be May 28th, so roughly a month and a half from now. But when it comes, I'm going to be there. Like, no kidding. Last year, I had to make a PDA on Facebook saying, if it's 5:30 in the evening and I have not gotten my watermelon feta salad, someone send a search party. Don't worry, I was able to. Okay, I need to tell you the story. I have what's called ART, or Acceptance Resolution Therapy, and I just happened to have it on the day they brought back the watermelon feta salad last year. On top of that, unbeknownst to me, my tire was going flat because it ran over, and because I somehow run over a nail that no matter how many times I filled the tire, I could never see the nail until I went to the car dealership to fix it. And throughout the ART session, I had myself a good cry. So I had therapy, a good cry, and I had to find somewhere for me to fill the tire with air. But I got my salad. And I can't believe I'm thinking about, Like, I was supposed to talk about the Moistmaker sandwich, and I didn't talk about the watermelon Feta salad. Then again, a salad and a sandwich is pretty good. Personally, I'd like to go for the Holy Trinity and a nice bowl of soup, too. I don't know. I should probably stop talking now. I'm getting hungry. And I'll get myself some breakfast later. I hope you like this video. If you like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on social media. As always, I'm very humble in this video for all of you guys watching Joe for Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. And remember, if you guys want to talk channels, we're here to let me always be back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby. Actually, hold on. 28 days in May. 16, 17, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 15, 17, 18, 19, 30, 15, 28. I believe you have 43 days until the return of the 42. It'd be 42 because technically it wouldn't count day. So, yeah. The greatest salad ever is coming back in 42 days. See ya.